Hey guys. Okay, tonight I have a very special guest jumping on. I am Bree, Diamond Coach, and the founder of the Live on Purpose movement. I asked Megan Wight to please speak some truth for our team, for our Live on Purpose tribe, and I've also opened the door for some other team members. So anyone and everyone who's here with us, I am so glad that you have taken time to catch these nuggets that will come your way. My hope is that you would just walk away with some inspiration, or just grab whatever energy, whatever speaks to you, and harness it and run with it. Megan is a 2-star Diamond Coach. She is a leader in our United Coach Collaboration group. So she is just living her truth, living out loud, keeping it real on her social. If you don't follow her, you should definitely check it. She brings it, and she just has been able to attract a tribe of people that get her. So I want her to talk about that tonight and help us figure out how to do that for ourselves. So without further ado, I will let her take the stage and get a pen and paper. Let's rock and roll.
Thank you, Bree. That was so nice of you. I like to think I know what I'm talking about sometimes, but like Bree said, take what jumps out at you through this information, because it's probably nothing you haven't heard, right? Like in some way, shape, or form. And so take what you will. Most of the time, it's just little nuggets that are going to really, like, it's timing where somebody says something and you're like, I get it now. I'm a slow learner. I catch the curve a little bit later than a lot of people. And so a lot of this stuff, it's just regurgitated information that I've simplified for my own brain, that I've heard my coaches, Christina, say over and over again. So maybe you'll hear some new stuff. Hopefully you will grab a new perspective, but at any rate, I will do what I can. So like Bree said, I'm Megan Wight. I am a lifetime 2-star Diamond Coach, Success Club legend. So just to kind of give myself a little credibility, I have talked to a lot of people in 6 years as a coach. I have gotten a lot of no's, and I've gotten some yeses too. So when she asked me to talk on her team call about recruiting, I was like, me? I mean, I didn't tell her this, but now she knows that I was like, me? Talk about recruiting. I'm not like a heavy recruiter. You know, I don't have huge high numbers every month of recruiting. And so I kind of had to backtrack a little bit on what I was doing and how I do what I do. And so I'm more or less going to talk about, I think I would almost call it prospecting, because I'm going to talk about 10 minutes on each so you guys can keep me on track, and because I did not set my timer. So keep me on track, but about 10 minutes of each. I'm going to talk, number one, about emotion versus outcome. Okay, when you are prospecting. Number two, I'm going to talk about where to find people and sorting. And then number three, I'm going to talk a little bit about momentum to keep your team growing. So number one, emotion versus outcome. Talking to people is now what you do for a living. This is the business of talking to people. So it has to become part of your lifestyle, period. Like if you're like, well, I don't really like people and I don't really like talking to people and I don't really want to invite 10 people a day. Like this isn't the business for you then, because you have to like people. You have to want to talk to people. You have to want to talk to a lot of people. The more people you talk to, the faster you'll grow. This is a numbers game. And I don't mean that people are part of our game, but it is a numbers business. You have to talk to a lot of people to find those few people that want to do what you want to do. And that's build to diamond and above. That's build some type of full-time income with this, part-time or full-time, depending on what your number is. Everybody has a number, right? When you think about what you want to do with your business, those are the people that you want to attract. And those are the people that you're going to attract wherever you're at right now and based on where you want to go. So the further you'll go in your business, the more people you talk to. And that's just, you have to figure out what your odds are. How many people do you have to talk to in order to find that one yes, that one gold star who is going to be one of your top 5, right? Because that's what we know full-time business or full-time income in this business is. And if you don't know now, you do. It's 5 leaders. It's finding 5 leaders that want to build a full-time income or some type of full-time income. It doesn't have to be, 7 figures, but it's 5 people. I'm going to use the analogy. You probably have heard it if you're in our Rock Your Network Marketing group right now. If you knew that there were 5 gold blocks in your backyard, wouldn't you keep digging until you found them? Probably. I would. So you have to ask yourself, is it worth the work based on where you want to go? What's the value in it? And the only way that you know that is based on your why. A lot of people overlook that why. Well, it's because I want to lose 20 pounds, or it's because I want to get out of debt, or I want to go on vacation, or I want to, those are so big and almost unrelatable that you have to backtrack a little bit and reverse engineer that initial why, because that's super important before any of this. You have to know where you're going and why you want to get there, or none of the work is going to hold value, and you're probably not going to be willing to do the work, right? So when your confidence increases, where your confidence increases is when you talk to more people, because you're getting practice. Even if you have 100 no's and no referrals and nobody joins you, you're still getting practice. It took me probably 3 years to get the type of practice I needed to feel like, okay, I got this. I got this now. And that was just with inviting. I sent every single conversation to my coach, every single conversation, almost about, because I needed to learn visually how to respond. And I needed to know, okay, if I'm getting practice, this is my on-the-job training, right? That's your on-the-job training, is the practice. Even if nothing else comes from it, it is good practice. So take the pressure off of yourself when you are prospecting, aka looking for people, aka trying to attract people. It's all called prospecting, but think of it this way: just start sharing and inviting, right? It's up to us to invite. It's up to them to decide. It's not up to us to decide, because it's those people, and you guys know this, it's those people that we would think that they're the last people that want or need or are willing to pick or to do what we are doing, and maybe want to start a fitness program from home, or maybe want to earn a side income or a second stream of income, right? It's those people that need it the most, and they just need to be invited, because then they have the power to then take control of their life, and you're giving them that power by inviting them. Did you understand that? That's really powerful of what you're doing. When you invite people, you are then giving them the control back to take control of their life. That's super powerful, that you're allowing people to decide to do that for their life. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay, so, and I just got goosebumps, because it's like, if I wouldn't have been invited, I eventually would have found this, because that's just me. I would have found it because I would have researched it or figured out what everyone else was doing. But if I wouldn't have been invited, I'd be back at my desk job probably right now. And I'm never going back there. But I then was able to take control of my life and go, okay, first goal with this business, I don't want to be at the desk job anymore. I'm reining back control of, and now catching the vision of what I want to do with my life and what's possible. Not even just that, but physically. I've went through 3 pregnancies now. Had I not been invited to this opportunity, I'd probably still be 50 pounds overweight. So you're allowing people to take back control just by sharing, just by inviting. You're sorting and you're sifting. We're going to talk about sorting on number 2, but you cannot be emotionally connected to whatever is on the other side of that invite. You cannot because what that means is you're pushing your own agenda on them, because if they don't say yes, you're going to take it personal, and it's now then emotional for you. You cannot be attached to that. It's your job. You are not the message, you're the messenger, right? Like, it's just your job. Take yourself out of the equation, take your agenda out of the equation, take your expectation of whatever's on the other side of that invite out of the equation, and just show up and invite, right? It's their job to decide. I love this analogy. The waiters and waitresses that walk around in the restaurant and ask if you want coffee or water for that. Let's just say water. And they're going around pouring at every table. Just because somebody puts their hand over the cup or says, no, thank you, or says, not right now, the waiter doesn't take it personal and slam the cup down and whip off their apron and quit their job, right? Like, that would be silly. So you cannot take it personal when somebody says no. They're not saying no to you. They're just saying no right now. And essentially, if we're going to be honest about it, they're saying no to themselves. So you really have no stake in the ground based on their decision, because they're saying no to themselves, or they're saying no to an opportunity that is just not right for them at the time. Okay. So as you share with people, keep an open mind. They're going to be one of three things. Okay. So they're going to either be a coach, obviously, and that's a rep or distributor, whatever you want to call it, but coach, and they're going to build the business. Okay. Or they're going to be a customer and enjoy the products, use the products, get results, join your challenge groups, or take advantage of some offer or service that you offer. Or number three, they're going to be a connector. So coach, customer, or connector. And the connectors, these people. They are the people that cheer on every post you make. They comment and they say, awesome job, you're so inspiring, keep going, you are doing amazing. They are people that show encouragement, support, but they're not one of your customers. They're just somebody who connects, or that will make those connections from what you do to somebody that they know, or they will refer you to, right? So they'll make those connections if they know what you do. If people don't know what you do, they can't make that connection, right? They can't make that referral. People don't know that they can be your customer. People don't know that they can be a coach on your team if they don't know what you do. And inviting doesn't just mean a private message. You're doing inviting through social media, through your marketing on your Facebook wall, everything from your cover photo to your profile picture to things that, all your interactions on Facebook, right? So maybe take a look at that too. There's a lot of different avenues of inviting. You have to decide and look at all the avenues that you're using to invite. Instagram stories, an email list. I mean, it's just endless. So you have to continue inviting and sharing. Inviting and sharing kind of go hand in hand on social media, through email, things like that, unless you're putting a specific call to action. So if you are sharing about your story on social media, you don't have to put a call to action just to invite people. If people know what you're doing and you're allowing them to insert themselves into your story, you're allowing them to go, I'm there too. I know exactly what she's going through. I know how she feels. I want to lose 10 pounds also. Like, I have baby weight to lose. I want to join her. I want to do what she's doing. I want to go where she's going. But people don't know that unless you're sharing. You don't, before you make a post on social media, you don't go, well, this person, this person, this person, and this person, and this person are not going to be interested. So I'm just not going to post on social media, right? Like, you can't allow that to deter you from sharing and inviting and allowing people to decide which one of the 3 C's they want to be: the coach, the customer, or the connector. Okay. So number 2, let's talk about where to find people. And you have to decide too, back to number 1, you have to decide too, what's your goal every day of how many people you're going to invite or share with. And that doesn't just mean a hard invite of, hey, here's my challenge group and it starts on this day. It means dropping off a sample. It means running into somebody in the grocery store and, you know, them making a comment as to something about their health and fitness or nutrition, and you going, well, hey, I have a group starting. Like, have you ever considered joining me? There's so many different ways to translate that share, to translate that invite versus just a straightforward invite of, I see a face behind me, straightforward invite of, here's my challenge group, here's when it starts, here's what we're doing, we're going to drink Shakeology, you can lose 10 pounds, do you want to join me? Nobody's going to want to join you. I'll tell you that right now. Nobody's going to want to join you. So number 2, where do you find people? And then how do you sort? Okay. So there are so I keep saying number 1 or number 2. So let's say first bullet point, you have to be creating a pipeline for potential new clients and customers, some way, shape, or form. And it cannot be a paid challenge group, because those are going to be your sorry, I just heard my husband say, you failed the mission. And now my husband is going to, or now my child's going to probably start crying because I'm sure it was up for a book. Okay. So you have to be creating a pipeline of potential new people, which in turn, a byproduct of that will be Success Club. It will be increasing your income, your paycheck. It will be recruiting coaches for your team, but a free group. That is a good idea to be running a free Clean Week group every single month. I ran a free 5-day group for 2 years straight, 3 years straight, maybe, for sure 2. And this was before Clean Week. So I was giving I just was doing a free meal plan and so forth and so on. And I was hitting Success Club every month because I was creating a pipeline of, that's why I've hit Success Club for 48 plus months in a row. Because I started that pipeline of new referrals, of new potential clients, of new potential coaches. And if you don't have some type of pipeline, you have no inflow of people, of new people. It's just those same people that are going to like your stuff, those fans that are going to like your stuff, that are going to say, haha, or rah, rah, keep going, you're doing great. But they're never actually going to upgrade to a paid challenge group or even potentially your team. And so you're going to do that through a free Clean Week group. It's all set up for you. The whole system of Clean Week, the group is set up for you. You just have to be running it every month and promoting for it every month, and getting creative and doing some type of referral prize or system or something like that. But I had new people in my group every month. That was my goal. Yes, I let some of the same people in, but I had new people, majority of new people every single month. And those people turned to customers, and those people turned to coaches, some of them, not all of them, and I don't want just everybody, right? So that's going to be a byproduct. Your byproduct is going to be hitting Success Club. And it's critical that you establish this pipeline, because if you don't, you're going to go through a state of attrition where you're losing more people than you have coming in. And when you get to that point, your business starts to crumble. Kind of like if you're not consistently recruiting, which comes prospecting first, but if you're not consistently recruiting, the same people that you started with, majority of them are not going to be with you to the end. So those people are going to be quitting, right? I've went through a lot of coaches that have signed up and quit. And if I'm not consistently recruiting, my business is going to go to zero. I'm not going to have anybody to build my business. So you're going to go through a state of attrition. You are going to you're going to be attracting the people that don't want to do the work, and they don't want, you're going to get discouraged because then your business is in other people's hands. You have to control the controllable. You have to control the inviting, the outpour of content on social media, my kids are, Maverick, are you supposed to be sitting there? Yeah. You are in control of your invites, of your reach outs, of your shares, to put in people's hands, of my kids are so distracting, including my husband. Okay. So what you're not in control of is what other people do, of the people that join and quit, of the people that join your team and don't do anything, of the people that buy a challenge pack and then don't use it and join your group and don't participate, right? So you're going to go through that state of more losing. You're losing more than you have coming in, and you're putting your business in the hands of other people, okay? So you have to be establishing that pipeline of people. And a free group, number one, obviously. A challenge group, obviously, is something you should be running every month. So how I structure it is I'll do a clean week at the beginning of the month. So that means I'm promoting like the end of the month before, at least a week. Okay. Now, depending on where you're on your business, you might need to promote 2 weeks out. All of my new coaches, I have them promote 2 weeks out. And a free clean week group is one of the first things I have them do. My new coach, Christina, that signed up probably 3 months ago, she, in her first clean week group, she had 16 women. And that came from obviously sharing some of her results about Beachbody and the program, but she had 16 women. This next group she ran, she had 15 people. And so she's constantly getting those new people, but she's also seeing those small wins, and some of those people might turn into paid customers. Well, they have turned into paid customers, and some of them, once she gets them in their challenge group and sees what they do and how they respond to the products, they might become coaches. And so that would have never happened had she not run a free group. So I have them I run a free group every beginning of every month, and then my challenge group usually follows. So like Lift 4, now we're starting middle of July. So I'll still probably run a clean week group beginning of August and do like a back to school thing. And it's going to be not to fill my next challenge group. I just want to create my funnel. I want to keep it going, and I want to keep it open. So that's one of the tips I have for you. And I think my 10 minutes is up on that one. So number 3, building momentum to keep your team growing. And I will take questions at the end. So if you have those, or maybe is there a chat box? Are people using that? Maybe not. Okay. All right. So I know, how do I close my chat box? Close. Okay. So number 3, building momentum to keep your team growing. Number 1, you have to lead by example. And I know you're like, well, duh, but like, are you doing it? Are you doing the things that you want to see your team doing? And are you doing them at a pace that you want to see your team performing at? Because if you're not, your team is going to be doing half of that. See what I'm saying? Just like so I'm a group fitness instructor. So I teach Turbo Kick and a million other things that I'm certified in. But when I'm up there teaching, the intensity that I'm teaching at, I know my class is going to be doing half of that. So your team is not going to be, if you're running, your team's not going to be running. There might be 1 or 2, depending on how many coaches you have, or people that say they want to. But whatever you're doing, they're going to be half speed of that. So if you're hitting Success Club 5, your team, again, depending on numbers, you have to figure out what your odds are, but your team is going to be doing half of that. And that's kind of like, oh, shit, like I need to step it up. right? Like I need to step up in this area or this area or this area if I want my team performing at this level. And so that was kind of a hard look that I had to ingest. That was a hard pill to swallow, essentially, because it was like, well, I'm doing all the things. I'm running a challenge group every month, a free one and a paid one. I'm filling it with new people. I'm hitting Success Clubs at least 5, if not higher. I'm recruiting a coach or 2, maybe more a month, depending on the month. Why isn't my team doing anything? Right? Like that's where we maybe all feel stuck. Or maybe you're one of those people who are like, I need to step it up. Like my coach is stepping it up. I need to maybe get up there on her level if I want to see the success based on my goals. You're not just going to do what she's doing just because, right? Because if there's no value in it, because you don't want to go where she's going, there's no value in it, you're not going to do the work. So you have to decide what pace you want to set for your pack. You have to decide if it's worth it, if you can afford the time to do it. And I'm not talking like, can I afford to shut off my Real Housewives or not? Because that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, can you afford with 3 kids, one's nursing, one's 2, one's 4, I have a husband, I have like a house I have to maintain. What can I afford to do with my time? And where am I going to maximize my time the most? So you have to decide what pace what you can set. And that's going to depend on what season you're at in your life, because that's what's going to depend on what season you're at in your business. I'm in a completely different season right now than I was 6 months ago. Completely different. And the last 3 years of my business, I was in a different season. I never quit, but I took my foot off the pedal here and there. I did what I could. I kept a minimum, and that was it, because that's all I could mentally. So you have to set the pace and not complain about it. Because if you have time to complain about it, you have time to change it. And if you're like, well, I am wasting my time on social media, or I'm scrolling, or I don't know what to do, or I sit down to work and I don't know what to do, that's not a coaching thing. That's a you thing. Because if you don't know what to do, you have to ask somebody. If you have no idea what to do when you sit down to work your business, you have to ask somebody. If you don't know how to reach out to this person, or you don't know how to respond to this invite or this follow-up, or you don't know how to respond to this objection, or you don't know how to organize your time because you have 3 kids and a full-time job and a life outside of coaching, you have to ask somebody for help or figure out a way to find the answer. And you have to get organized. Bottom line, if you're not doing the things, you have no momentum. Momentum comes from doing the things. It doesn't come from motivation. It doesn't come from sitting here going, okay, so like when I am diamond, or when I'm earning $300 a week, like then I really feel like I'll be able to like really get momentum, or I'll be able to really sponsor a lot of people, or I'll be able to really work on my business more and commit more. No, that's not how it works. Momentum comes from doing. It comes from doing. And if you're not doing the things, you have no momentum. And if you have no momentum, your team gets tired and dies. And so organization, strategize monthly. You have to organize your business. First of all, you have to organize content, your groups, recruiting, all of that probably at a month's time. And I say probably because sometimes I do a month, sometimes I do a couple weeks. So at the beginning of the week, you have to strategize your business a little bit. Like, where are you going to run your free group? Where are you going to run your paid group? Your paid group is probably going to overlap into next week. Where am I going to put out some recruiting posts, like coach posts, business posts, because I want to recruit during this week. Like I am now trying to recruit at the beginning of the month so that I can bring people into a new coach or Emerald group that month, instead of trying to do it just like here and there and all over the place. And that way you then can have the control of enrollment starts, enrollment closes. Here's when you can enroll. Here's when the enrollment closes, like for the Lift group. Enrollment closes on Friday. And I don't care if I'm at Success Club 4 and I close enrollment, because my business is a business. And if I don't set boundaries, I have no business. So you have to set boundaries. You have to get organized. Yes, I see 4 minutes left. So content, groups, recruiting, your time. This business is not your life. This business is something you're working aside, on the side of your life, to create more choices and freedom in your life. So get organized, set the pace, do the things that create momentum, right? And you will have people that want to follow because they see where you're going and they see you're organized and they see your business is structured. Who wouldn't want to be a part of that? Right? Okay, questions? Any questions?
I will take the first one. So what is your best advice for a coach who just signed up within the last 3 months, let's say, like brand new baby coach? What is your best advice for them?
As far as what?
If you could only give one piece of advice, what would it be?
Practice your story. And I say that because a lot of coaches' number one fear is what people think, that I'll fail, that people won't want to join me. And those are all things you can't control. You can control your story. Nobody can tell you your story is not legit, that it's not real, that there's no credibility in it. It's your story, and you have to get good at telling it, because that's what's going to attract people.
Love that. And in the, we'll call it recruiting phase, when you're forming somebody and talking to them and they think they might want to sign up as a coach, what steps do you take right away before they even click sign up? What steps do you take to sort them?
In their business?
Mm-hmm.
I have them fill out my goals sheet. And then that's our first call. If I have their goals, then I know, okay, if this is how much they want to make, or this is the only thing they want to do with the business, then I know exactly how to get them there. And that's the thing. You're not going to, and you might, I mean, I have, but you're not going to enroll people that don't want to get to where at least you're at. So you know how to get them there.
Right. Right. Well, looks like we have less than a minute. If you guys have any lingering questions, you know where to find Megan. She's right there in the United Coach Collaboration Group, running in the trenches with us. I so appreciate your time, Megan. Thank you for that. I have a page of notes, and let's go out there and change some lives, shall we? Thank you, guys. I hope you have a great night.